What's up, fans of Bakugan? It's D Hart. I went through and opened up all the new Battle Strike packs that can be found in stores, Walmart, Target, Amazon, whatever have you. 5 of them. I opened them all up. We got our Geogan, our Bakugan, our Nanogun. We're gonna go through one by one super fast and see who's good, see which one's worth getting. So here we go. We're gonna start with Heos, Platinum Warrior Whale. He's right here. We have a shield and a fire fist, 800B and 4 damage. So the highest that this guy's getting up to is 1200. If I can find the right core, which is not super competitive. 4 damage. If you're gonna go for damage wins with the Pyrus cards, you can get up to 10. It's not terrible, but there's not a huge benefit there to run him for damage wins. So with him just getting up to 1200 on his own, not super strong. If he had a magic shield from a friend, he could get up to 1450, and that is almost like the minimum that you would have to get now to be competitive. So Warrior Whale has a high B base power, but he needs friends to share with him for sure. So we're gonna put him over here. That's like the almost viable, but not quite viable. Only because he doesn't have his own good cores. Then we have Heos Nilius. And this guy is sweet because he's coming with 2 magic shields, 800B, 5 damage. Those are good stats. That's a high B power with a high damage next to it. And 2 magic shields is awesome because you get 1450 with him, and now you're sharing with Warrior Whale, which I don't know why you would want to do that, but if these are the favorite Bakugan you like, you can. So because he can share those cores and he gets 1450 on his own, I'm gonna put Nilius on my right hand. Then we have Platinum Wrath. This dude is metal, platinum. He is new, so let's just look at him really quick. He is new in this Battle Strike pack, I think. Maybe some singles that I've only seen on Amazon so far. Not in stores yet, but he's awesome. He's cool looking. And here's his card. He's got 2 Fire Fists, 300B, 7 damage. When he's landing on a Fire Fist, he gets to take the enemy's core, the opponent's core, and put it back onto the Matrix himself. So it's a core removal. If you're gonna do damage wins with Wrath, you're gonna get up to 13 damage, probably way higher than your opponent, because you're taking your opponent's core, putting it onto the Matrix. That's huge. It's a really good play right there for damage wins. If you share a magic shield, you're gonna get up to 950 and 7. There's no reason to do this though. His only purpose that I can see right now is really just to do damage wins. So that's really cool and strong. But if that's not your strategy, it's a really niche strategy. Well, maybe not niche. A lot of people do it. We're gonna put him over here. Then we have Halcor. 2 green fists. Put these guys that I've already used away. 2 green fists, 800B, 1 damage. Where is Halcor? He's not here. He's gone. Well, his toy is somewhere. But here's his card. If he gets on a green fist, he is also taking the opponent's core and putting it back onto the Matrix. So you're gonna get up to 950 and 3, and your opponent will not have a core. That's strong, that could be cool. Your opponent might be tied with you at that point. If you're going against somebody that had 800 like Warrior Whale, you're 150 up on them, and they don't have a core, so that's strong. Then it comes down to action cards and whatever else you're doing. Because of that, I'll just say, I'll put him over here on my right. I would use him. He's usable. Now we have Blitzfox in the Aquos faction. He's pretty neat because look at that Helix bonus, plus 1000. Now the minus 6 damage means you're not ever gonna do damage with this guy. But if you land on a Helix and you are, well, right here, 1700. You're 1700 B and 0 damage. That's a huge B power. It's among the highest. 1700, 1800 is about as high as we get right now, I think, without double coring. He's super strong B power. He would be a wall. He'd be somebody you play to overcome, that turn. You win for that turn. You draw another card for your next turn. Get ahead in card draw, I guess. Not going to help with the team attack or damage, but it's cool that he gets so high. Now, if you had Shadow Strike, which means that negative cores or cards do not work on that Bakugan. If you had Shadow Strike, a gear on him, or he lands on a core, whatever you may do to get Shadow Strike, this guy is super strong. He'd be at 1700 B and 7 damage. That's awesome. Definitely somebody I would use. Now we have Platinum Neo Pegatrix. magic shield and a shield, and doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff with cores over here. 7 damage. If he lands on a magic shield, he gets to add a core from the matrix to himself. If he lands on a shield, he is stealing the opponent's core. That means you take the opponent's core off their Bakugan and put it onto Platinum Neopegatrix. So he gets that core. So if your opponent, you have to read what your opponent's doing. If you know they're going to roll for a magic shield, you could go for a shield yourself, and then you would be up to 500, and then you take their magic shield and you'd be at 1150, and they wouldn't have a core. Now, if you were at 1150 and your opponent didn't have a core, you would be up high because no Bakugan goes higher than 1,000. So you'd be winning if you did that strategy. If you just landed on a magic shield, you'd be at 750, and then you could take opponent's magic shield that they didn't land on. So 750 plus another 650 is, oh my gosh, what is that, 1400? You'd be at 1400 B and 7 damage, and you would have taken your opponent's magic shield. Or if you have a bunch of magic shields on your team and you can spare one because you were playing people like Nilius, you know, you can take your own magic shield. You don't have to worry if your opponent already picked theirs up or not. So there's a lot of options with Platinum Neopegatrix, even though he looks crazy coming in at 100 B. So because you can do so much, and because his damage is 7, so whatever you do to win, you're going to do a lot of damage. That's pretty cool. I'm going to put him over here on my right. I'm going to keep him around. Dragonoid, coming with 2 shields. And why can't I have... Oh, there he is. Here's Dragonoid out in the corner. 2 shields, 700 B and 1 damage. And when you land on a shield, you get an extra 400. So he's strong because this is going to put him at 1505. Actually, he's about as good as the old Armored Alliance Hydorus was. 1506 damage. So he gets to do this with a shield instead of a helix like the old Hydorus does. So he's up to 1501 on a shield. That's strong. He comes with 2 shields. You can have a shield team, and this would be a good addition to it if all your Bakugan were carrying shields. I love the bonus. I'm going to keep him. 1500 is okay. All right, now we get to Pyrus. There's only a couple. Neo Dragonoid is the first. 700 B, 6 damage, magic shield, and a green fist. Here is Neo Dragonoid. He's going to get up to 1350 B on his own and 6 damage. So that's a really good balance to have that much damage. 1350 B is a little low nowadays. Got to put a gear on him or use your action cards. If he runs on that green fist, for the sake of doing damage wins, you could land on a core like this and get 9 damage. But overall, he's kind of underwhelming. The mold is new, but the card is a little underwhelming. I'm going to put him on my left. And then we have Pyrus Feral. Helix and a Fire Fist. 500 B, 7 damage. The B power is super low. When he lands, here he is right here, before I go on. When he lands on a Helix for the best B power bump, he's at 1100 B, 4 damage. It's not strong at all. But this dude could be a monster damage wins player. So those Pyrus cards that make the condition of the game winner being that person who has the highest damage over here, land on a Fire Fist plus 6, he's 13 damage. That's pretty high. So because of that, he'd be good for damage wins. I don't know where to put him though. I don't know. Damage wins is a good strategy. I'll keep him in the middle. There might be other Pyrus Bakugan that are better. I can't think off the top of my head. Now this dude is exciting, and I don't have Pyrus Trox in front of me. I know I don't. And now I do. Here he is. Light colored red for all these new Bakugan evolutions, Pyrus Bakugan. I love this because I love Trox. I love the idea of dinosaurs. He's got 900 B, 3 damage, and he comes with his own magic shield, so he can get up to 1550 on his own. That is awesome. It makes him viable. You can use him. It feels like it's been a long time since you could use any Trox that wasn't Heos Trox Ultra from Armored Alliance. So this is exciting. And he's coming with a shield too, which is cool. Getting up to 1300. On just that shield. So super strong. I love it. He's on my right. Now we have Neo Dragonoid, Ventus. So here he is. He's got the red tattoos on the back. He's got 2 Fire Fists, 700 B, and 5 damage. So his B power is not going to be high. He's only going to be able to get up to 950 on this best Fire Fist. He'd have 8 damage, so he's more of a damage wins guy, or somebody that you put gears on and then, you know, do a hard hit with damage while you're still trying to win with B power. He'd be at 11 damage if you're going to go for damage wins, if you have Pyrus on your team and use those Pyrus cards, like Midasyndius or Mac. So he's sort of in the middle. I don't know. He's kind of like a Feral to me almost. I'll put him over there. Not as good as Feral for damage wins, but not great with the B power. All right, Platinum Neo Dragonoid. So here's our metal Neo Dragonoid. Darkus faction. Pretty cool. I wish the metal would be black or purple or pink though. Silver kind of just makes it look like there's too much silver. And his card's a little lackluster too, to be honest. 300B, 6 damage. He's only going to get up to 903 on the best Helix. That's not strong enough to compete with the strong ones. If you do damage wins, you could get up to 12. It's a high damage, so that works too. That's good, but this guy isn't going to win a lot of B-power battles with 300. He should have had a bonus, you know, like if he lands on a Helix plus 400 or something, so he could be at least a 1300. I don't know. He's pretty weak. He is on the left. Then we have Platinum Sectinoid, who is also not in front of me, and I'm not going to go get him this time. I've reviewed him before, but he's in the new Battle Strike packs. So 2 Fire Fists, 1000 B, and 1 damage. He's got to share a core with somebody so that he can get up to 1650 and be huge as far as B power goes. He's not going to do any damage plays. And on his own, if you're not sharing cores, he's getting up to 1250 and 4, which is subpar nowadays. So he is on the left unless you share cores with him. Trox. Here's this Trox, and he looks cool. Like these colors. 700B, 7 damage. He's not coming with any cores that help him with damage other than the Helix that can add 3. So he could get up to 10 damage with his own cores. I don't have one of those in front of me, but his highest B that he can get up to is 1304. Again, that's kind of subpar. We need to get to that 1500 mark at least. 1450, 1500, and these guys aren't doing it. Now we have another new one, Platinum Griswing, Aurelus this time. So here he is. He has a magic shield and a shield with 900 B and 3 damage. So again, he's this strong guy that can get up to 1550. That's fun. 1550 and 3. And he can do it on his own course. Aurelus doesn't have a lot of great cards to support, so you'd have to really be specific nowadays, running this guy and having him be strong. And then Sectinoid. And Sectinoid's also not in front of me. Where'd all these guys go? It's so lazy. He's got a Fire Fist, a Green Fist, 600B, 7 damage. Damage wins. That's what you can do here. He can get up to 13 damage. And if you're playing with Pyrus, going for damage wins. B power, even if you share a shield, he's getting up to 1250. It's not strong. So for me, he's on the left. Aurelus doesn't have enough good cards to justify even using them nowadays, which is sad. And then finally, Nilius, who again is not in front of me anymore. Man, where'd I put all these guys? He's got 2 shields, 300B, 5 damage. If he lands on a shield, which he can't use any of these 400 shields because none of them share with Aurelus. And I don't have a 300 shield in front of me. So just know that the highest he can get is 600, 5 damage. And if he lands on a shield, he is removing the opponent's shield or removing the opponent's core and putting it onto the matrix. So your opponent won't have a core. Nilius will be at 600, 5 damage, but it's just not super strong. So he's on the left there. Now I'm gonna go into the Geogan. I guess before I do though, I'll review who are the strongest Bakugan over here. We've got Aquos Dragonoid getting up to 1500. Platinum Griswing getting up to 1550. Heos Nilius getting up to 1450 with 2 magic shields. It's awesome. Blitzfox getting up to 1700 and 0 damage. Trox getting up to 1550 and 3. Halcor getting up to 950, but your opponent won't have a core anymore, and that is strong. And then Platinum Neopegatrix, who can do all kinds of things and mess with your opponent and can end up being pretty strong with those core removals and core steals. So that's who I like out of these packs. These two, we'll put them on the left. All right, now for the Geogan, we have Aquos Manicore. 3 energy for 800 B, and you get 600 extra when you land on a Green Fist. So if we land on the highest B Green Fist, we are at 1550 and 5 damage. But he costs 3 energy. And like you saw, these Bakugan can get 1550 for no energy. And the fact that Manticore is taking a Green Fist for a bonus means you're not going to be able to do a meaningful core steal from your opponent just taking a Green Fist. So it's not even going to hurt your opponent that much to take their core if you drop your Geogan on top of it. So Manticore, for me, pretty underwhelming. I'm going to put him in the middle, actually to the left. And I kind of think they're all going to end up that way because they all cost 3. And I don't know, we'll see. I haven't really gone through these guys yet. Oh, and here's the exact same thing almost. Almost. So Skyhorse is getting up to 1500. Manticore is 1400 plus the Green Fist. And was it the same damage? Skyhorse has 1 more damage than Manticore. So same story. Don't even need to repeat it. Both of these guys going on my left. Ghost Beast. Looks like I only have half of these guys here too. So here is Ventus Skyhorse. Looks cool. Here is Haos Ghost Beast, who is partway closed. Okay, what's his story? 700 B8, 800 bonus. These guys are all the same. They printed them all the same. That's kind of funny. But Ghost Beast is better because he can land on the Haos core and be at 1900. 1904 damage. So if you subtract 1900 minus 1500, he's getting up to 1550, but let's just use 1500 because it's easier. that math is easier. If you subtract him from him, that's going to 1900 minus 1500 is 400. 400 B is what you're getting when you use Ghost Beast for 3 energy. And that ratio, 3 energy for 400, that's really bad. It should be 1 energy for 300, but you're paying 3 energy for 400. So I hope that makes sense. It means that Ghost Beast is really not worth it. It's too high of an energy cost. Not good. Amfrog is getting 1000 B when he lands on a Green Fist. So he's going to get up to 1750. And where'd that Green Fist go? 1750 and 6 damage. His B power is worse than what we just saw with Ghost Beast. So we know it's not worth it in the B power. 6 damage is, it's what a lot of these Bakugan have for free. There's 7. Here's another 7, although that's always going to be 0. Here's 5 for Nilius. Amfrog is also not going to be worth it. None of these guys are going to be worth it. Swarmer, 1000 B. Oh, this is interesting. On a shield, he gets to add a core from the Matrix, and he has 3 damage. So he's going to be at 1650. If he adds another shield, which I don't have another one in front of me, he would be at 2300. 2300 for 3 energy. So what does that work out to? 23 minus 15 is 8. 800 for 3 is actually the same cost as what some of the dual faction action cards do, which is not a bad ratio. 3 for 800. So I need to eat crow right now because I definitely would use Swarmer. He is good. It's a good ratio. And then lastly, Insectra, RLS, 508. Okay, so he's going to be at 13 plus 250 is 1550 and 9 for 3 energy. So like we've already shown, you can get this guy 1550 for free. You don't even need to use 3 energy. And for the energy that you save by just using a strong Bakugan and not using Insectra, you could play energy cards or action cards for 3 energy that would put you way past Insectra. Although I know we're using Geogan if we, miss our rolls with the Bakugan. They're kind of a last resort, so that's fine too. I get it. But the B power is not high, not great. If you're doing damage wins, that could be interesting. He'd be at 12 for 3 energy. Maybe not strong enough. Nope. So yeah, kind of underwhelming over there too. Now we're going to get into the Nanogun. And there's a ton of Nanogun. I'll do them quick. Let's see how similar they are, if anybody has some special effects that we haven't seen yet. That's what's going to be fun. Whoa, speaking of that, Nano Sledge Ventus. If you have 4 shields split amongst all your Bakugan team, you get 3000 B. That's awesome. So think of all the things you can do now. All these shield teams, having Bakugan that come with 2 shields, just going for shields, knowing that you're not going to win some of the B power battles. But when when it counts and maybe you're going for a team attack, you pull this guy out because your team has shields and boom, 3000 B, you win. Nano Sledge is kind of cool. I'm going to put him over here. He's on my right. Aurelus Sledge, 500 when you land on a helix and a shield. Those are normal stats. Put him over here on the left. 3 helixes for Pyrus Clutch and you get 1500 B. Oh, interesting. Because shields are a little bit less B power than helixes, it looks like on Ventus Sledge you get 1600 for 3 shields instead of 1500 for 3 helixes. But Clutch has a reroll. So you flip over Clutch, you get your 1500, and then you get to reroll your Bakugan. Or if you just miss the roll and you need a reroll, you do it, and then maybe you roll onto your 3rd helix. Could that work? And then you have 1500? I'm assuming it could. Correct me if you can't, but that's pretty cool too. A reroll on a Nanogun. Useful. And then here's another reroll. Aquos Blade. He's new. Getting 600B on 2 Green Fists is pretty cool. Pretty easy to reach. It's not a lot of cores to get that 600. So I'd say that's strong in a Green Fist deck for sure. Then we have Darkest Clutch. Also has a reroll and getting 1500 with 2 Green Fists and a Helix. So that's interesting. This guy you get 1500 for 3 Helixes, but you still get 1500 for 2 Green Fists and a Helix on Darkest Clutch. So I like the rerolls. I think it's strong. Aurelus Fury, 300 on a fist, 500 on a fist and a shield. I feel like that should be 600 for a fist and a shield. That's a lot, weaker B power than a Helix and a shield, but because of that, he's on my left. Not super strong to me. There it is, plus 600 for 2 shields. So shield teams, if you're running Darkus, you get to include Echo, Darkus Echo. And then Hail's Clutch, 2 shields and a Helix for 1500. We already saw one just like that, didn't we? Oh, not yet. Not yet. It was 2 Green Fists and a Helix for 1500 and a reroll. So you can see how these guys are really similar. Aquos Echo, 200 for 1 Green Fist, 600 for 2 Green Fists. If you're doing Green Fist and you just run both of these guys, man, could you imagine? It's a Green Fish power right there. That's pretty cool. And then Darkest Nano Shadow. Oh, you're taking cores from people when you're landing on Fire Fists. Interesting. So if you land on a Fire Fist and you flip this guy over, you're taking your opponent's core. That might be important when you're playing with Bakugan. I put them over here, didn't I? That need a Fire Fist, but I said we're kind of weak. I don't know if it was somebody like Feral. If you're running Feral and you run Darkus as well as Pyrus, you land on your Fire Fist, you're at 13 damage. Maybe you're even doing damage wins, and then you play your Nano Shadow. You take your opponent's core, you're at 13 damage, and they're in trouble. I don't know, the things you can do with this are pretty interesting. It'd be kind of fun. Okay, I put him over here because of what I just said, that strategy. If I didn't do the bottom, did I? Fire Fist and a shield, he's taking the opponent's core and putting it onto the Matrix. Those core steals are just strong. Definitely over here. Nano Fury, 500 and 3000. So you can get a Green Fist, a Fire Fist, a shield, and a Magic Shield. You get 3000 B. I don't know how you would do that. There are probably a lot of different ways to try to get that combination amongst your Bakugan. You'd probably be using Do we have any core additions in here on these Nanogun? No, we don't. But Bakugan like this, you gotta be using those symbols down there to add cores, work your magic, get up to a Nano Fury, and then that's your finishing move. Flip it over in 3000, you win the battle. And then lastly, we have Nano Lancer, RLS. On a magic shield, you remove a core, but if you get a magic shield and a green fist, you remove the core and get 200B. So it's strong because of the core removals, so I'll put them over here. All right, that's everybody. Who did you like? Who are you keeping your eye out for? There's a lot of interesting guys in here, and a lot of them were strong, which is exciting. I like the strength. 1500 and up. Let's go.